Hey man, so this video is a very serious video, and this is going to be very dark and at times sound crazy, and it's very full of torture and full of all the shit that happened in 2017 to me. I'm making this video basically. I'm basically making this for myself, not to share with anybody, as a catalog of memory of the events that went down in 2017. Because 3 years have passed now. It's 2020, and I'm on the verge of forgetting the events that happened in 2017. A lot of shit went by, and I'm just gonna try to recall from as as much as the beginning as I can. Okay, so in 2017, I was studying in Gurgaon in North Cap University. I had taken admission in around August, and this is October that I'm talking about. Things were going fine. I was very dissatisfied by the college, but and I was looking for other options. But I had settled down a little bit, and in fact, I had started enjoying my college. It's in about October. I was not attending regularly. I was missing a lot of classes. I mean, I would go one day and then miss one day. That's how it was going. But I was attending the college. Okay. So in October, it was in October that I was coming back from home. It might have been the Diwali visit probably, and there's a little incident in this train that I'm going to mention that has nothing to do with the main story. It is just as a point of reference of memory that I'm taking to start it at some point, to start the story at some point. Okay, so why I remember this train incident is because you mostly forget your train journeys, right? A little bit memorable thing in this journey was that there was a girl named Mehak who was sitting right almost a few seats besides me. Okay, and almost just before getting off the train, I mean a few, maybe half an hour, I noticed she caught my attention. She was a sad kind of person. She had a very sadness in her eyes, and I rarely see that in girls. And that kind of thing, it uh, it attracts me towards itself because I have a history of depression, clinical depression, and if I see somebody who is sad or has sadness in their eyes, that kind of thing attracts me. So before getting down, I talked to her a little bit, and we exchanged numbers. That's it, and we didn't even know we'd ever meet again. I mean, we didn't try to, we didn't plan to, but coincidentally we did later on, and I'll tell you how. So that's all about the train journey. I met this girl, we exchanged numbers, and so I was carrying on with my college. Okay, I had about 7, 8, 9 to 10 classmates. I wasn't really friends with anybody, best friends, but I knew everybody, and I had a fine equation with everybody. I had no enemy kind of thing among my classmates or in my college or in the city as a whole. I had no enmity with everybody, with anybody. I'm an introverted person. I kept to myself, and I didn't really have much of a social life because I didn't really hang out with other people. But I mean, everything was fine. I was kind of enjoying my life. College was fine, and my personal life, my relationship life was fine. I mean, I was, hanging around with a few girls, like having fun and all kind of thing. Nothing serious with anybody. So in October, I was a little bit high. Um, uh, I was a little high as a phase of my life. Okay, or I because I have a history of depression. It might be, it might very well be unarguably be categorized as bipolar type 2, in which in type 2 means somebody who has a severe depression episodes but not so severe manic episodes. So that is what a psychiatrist might say that I might have, and I won't even argue with that because that is plausible. The other argument is that it's just phases in my life and it's not a psychiatric problem, so that's a different argument. Okay, I'm ready to accept that I have bipolar type 2. So its basic symptoms are severe depression, which I've had many times in my life now, and a slight a lower hypomanic episodes, which I've had countably two, one in 2016 and one is this I'm talking the one I'm talking about 2017. So I was a little high. I knew that I was high, and I was it was totally under my control. I mean, I was doing nothing crazy or nothing illogical. I was using my high to, you know, uh, completing my, some life tasks that I might have left in the past, or creating things that I always wanted to do, and things like that. I mean, I was just using my high in for my productivity. A few things I'd mentioned that I did that, like, for example, in that high phase, I wrote a rap about one of my an online ex-girlfriend. Her name was Kirti Sehgal. She used to study with me in Chandigarh. Okay, so I wrote a full-on rap about her in one take, and I'm very inspired by Eminem, so it was very inspired by Eminem. Okay, it was a little bit abusive, but before going forward, I would tell that I haven't posted it anywhere. That is just another memory reference. And I was into writing a lot of it. I'm a very keen writer. I'm always writing something in my personal notepad, which is OneNote. I'm always writing something that. So at that time, I was writing these raps and these poems, and uh, some other these kind of creative things. And yeah, I was also working a little bit on this startup that I have, or a company that I have an ambition of forming. It's called VN Enterprise. I was also working on that a little bit. So yeah, so what triggered those events was that, um, first off, there was a lot of fishy stuff going on with my. I started to notice a lot of fishy stuff going on with my accounts. Uh, in the end of Around the end of October, I would. Uh, it was like my laptop has been hacked or something, or bugged or something. I mean, many times I would try to do something and it would get blocked or something. Now, it was not an connectivity problem or that kind of issue, because I would have noticed. I mean, I'm using internet since 10 years. I'm a introverted person. I'm a very vivid internet user. I know when something's fishy or something's unusual. So, okay, so this rap that I wrote, that I talked about, okay, it was my ex Kirti Sehgal. Okay, I was going to post that rap on Facebook. I was about to post that rap, and just as I was about to post it on Facebook, I mean, something fishy happened on my laptop, and things got blocked out. I mean, it was maybe like, I mean, I don't have the exact memory right now, but it was like maybe the internet got blocked out or something like that happened. So that was a trigger. I mean, that was a trigger. I remember it being as a trigger because I have a vivid memory of that point. So later on, what happened was, the main trigger of the events that went down. Okay, the the major events, by the way, I'm referring to is the events in the hospital, which happened. I was where I was forced, and I was forced in a hospital, and I'll talk about that later. I mean, I'm coming to that. So the trigger that was that I have a hard disk, a Seagate hard disk, a 1 terabyte hard disk, which has all my photos from about 2012 to 2017. So about 5 6 years of personal photos which I haven't backed up anywhere else. So I think you can understand how much importance those photos would have. I mean, about 6 years of your life, all my personal photos were collected in that Seagate hard disk. So what happened was that uh, around that time, I at the time when I was posting this rap on Facebook. So I mean, a little after or a little before, probably after that, I could not find my disc anywhere in my room. I had misplaced the disc. I mean, so it was a big panic. I got panicked a lot because already fishy stuff had been happening in my accounts and stuff. And when my disc misplaced, man, I was so worried. I think, yeah, I remember I was outside that time. I was somewhere in Delhi, and my room was in Gurgaon. So, and I was coming back. I was outside when I noticed that, and I called my PG mate. His name was Karan, and there was one guy who I was suspicious about. His name was Sachin. Okay, okay. Again, before going further, I will clear that there's uh, nothing wrong with Sachin, and he hadn't done anything. I just if I mean if I had to lay a suspicion on somebody in the PG, there's only one guy that could have been, because I didn't have a very good equation with him. So I called Karan and I told him, my disc is misplaced and all that. And I asked him that if has his roommate talked Karan and Sachin were roommates. So I asked him that has Sachin talked to him about my disc or anything like that, that he might have stolen it as a prank or something. So Karan was in the office at that time, and so that nothing like that had happened. So it confused him a lot. So, and it also created a misunderstanding between me, Karan, and Sachin. Uh, So when I came back to my room in Gurgaon, I was very panicked when my disc had misplaced. Okay, so I immediately then started searching for my disc. I couldn't find it anywhere in my room. So then I went down. My room was on the first floor, second floor. I went to the ground floor where the owner's room was present, and this owner guy, it was a father son. I lived in Uday Bhavan, Gurgaon. It was in Sukrali area. Yeah, so it was this father son guy, and they were known to be very arrogant, and they were in fact very very arrogant people. They were jat kind of people, and very. I mean, just arrogant is one word to clearly define them. They were very arrogant people, and so I told this guy's son, Uday, I think is his name, Uday guy's son, that he was a young, tall guy and very muscular, very strong. I told him that I have misplaced my disc, and I was in a panic state. So I said that I said I told him that I will not be doing any complaint to the police or etc. You just please check the camera recordings of your PG, and if maybe we can find something. So I was saying that in a little bit of a rushy and panicky mode, because obviously I was very worried. And just I was these were the exact things that I was saying to him, that please check the camera recordings, and I'm not going to complain anyway, just check the. And he fucking slapped me so tightly on my face while I was talking. I might have been talking in a panic mode, but it was a genuine panic, it was a genuine worry. And that fucking guy slapped me so hard on my face, and I immediately went quiet. I just looked at him, I was very very angry inside. I couldn't do anything because he was a very muscular, very strong guy, and I hadn't built my body, really in that time. So I was not gonna take a fight with that guy. Plus, that area was, it was a cluster of all those Jat guys and all his companions, and I had nobody to back me up. So he fucking slapped me. Then I stared at him, stared into his eyes. And so he then slapped me again. I didn't say anything, and he slapped me again, just because, probably because I didn't lower my eyes, and I didn't, submit to his power. So he slapped me two three times, uh, and and it was outside the PG, and a few people gathered around over there, and just to see the drama. So that was all with the drama there. Nothing, nothing else happened there at that time. But that slap, it it was a big trigger for me. It was it was the trigger that sent me to Delhi, which I consider as one of my biggest mistakes. Just a second, this alarm is not